So we recently posted a video on how we're getting ready for our spring garden. We got some seeds started, some tomatoes, some flowers. We got a question on how we save seeds. So at the moment, we're not harvesting anything out of the garden because we gotta plant things, but we wanna focus on the skill of saving seeds. And today we're gonna focus on saving tomato seeds that you grow in your own garden. So there's a couple caveats and a couple tips first on how to do that. So we had to go to the store and pick up a tomato to demonstrate with. But when you're wanting to save seeds from a tomato that you enjoy from your garden, you want to make sure that you pick one that is ripe enough and just leave it a little bit longer on the vine. Make sure that it's not rotting or the plant does not have any diseases, because you want to choose the best one that you're going to grow for next year and save the seeds from. So choose a nice ripe one, again, that has no disease and that has produced a lot of fruit from your plant. Okay, so the next thing you need to know is your tomato a hybrid? So was it a hybrid plant? That means a cross between two different varieties, or was it an heirloom open pollinated tomato? So your open pollinated tomato or your heirloom variety is going to produce the same offspring as the original plant. Your hybrid, you're going to have a chance of getting one of the parent tomatoes that is the cross in that plant. So you may not get the exact tomato that you're wanting if you choose a hybrid. So always choose an heirloom and try to choose something that's organic if you're growing organically. So let's get started. So there's a couple ways that you can save tomato seeds, but one of the best ways to do it is to extract the seeds and ferment them for a couple days to break up the mucilage or the gel that surrounds the seeds, and then dry them out. So you're gonna need some type of container, a little bit of water, and a lid, and basically that's it for the beginning. And then the process could take anywhere from 2 to 5 days to really separate the seeds out and get them clean, because you gotta then rinse things off and then dry your seeds. So very simply, we're gonna just open the tomato up. Again, you wanna make sure you have a nice ripe tomato, one that's doesn't have any disease on it and is not already rotting, because when it's already rotting, that is basically triggering the seeds that the growth process is going to take place. So I just simply rip this one open, and you can see there's different seeds in there, and you can scoop those out. I'm going to scoop them out onto a plate. So this is the point in the video where the microphone goes on a fritz and I have to change microphones and do a voiceover. So we're going to continue scraping out the pulp of the tomato and getting as many seeds as we can. It's okay if you don't save them all, because some will be hiding under the flesh, and there's going to be mature seeds and immature seeds in there. But you can see some of the gel that surrounds those individual seeds and some of the big chunks of flesh that you'll want to start breaking up. And you'll also see some dark seeds as well. Again, this was a store-bought tomato, so this is just being an example. So it could be a hybrid, or it could be an heirloom open pollinated tomato. We don't know, but just continue to separate the gel from around the seeds, break up the large pieces of flesh, and use your fingers and your hands, because what you'll do later is just scrape all of this into a jar when you're done. So you can use the rest of the tomato if you want, save some of the juice. But there you see some large seeds and some small seeds, and you'll be able to separate those after that gel separates from the seed. You basically have a little mason jar or a little cup, and we'll go ahead and scoop the seeds into there along with some of the gel and a little bit of the juice. And there you go. Just add your splash of water in there. Add a little bit more. All your mature seeds, when they're clean, the mature seeds are going to sink to the bottom, and the ones that are not mature or that won't germinate or that won't be viable will float to the top. And then that's how you separate them. So this is actually going to sit for a couple days. You can cover it. Okay, we have some cheesecloth there, or you can put a lid on. Once bubbling starts to form around the top of the liquid, then you can start straining it. But we'll come back to that when that happens. So first step is complete. So the last tip, if you're doing more than one variety of tomato, make sure you label your jars so you know which tomato seeds you're saving, and keep things in order. So this is store-bought tomato. So we're on day 2 of the tomato seeds sitting in the water. There's no bubbles yet or any film on the top, so I'm gonna wait a couple more days before we stir and clean them off. So we've had our tomato seeds fermenting in a little bit of water to try to break up the gel, the mucilage around the seeds, and it smells kind of fermented. So you want to be able to start that almost like rotting process of that flesh off, and so you can see the seeds on the bottom that are good, and then some seeds are floating, so we'll take those out. I'll probably take the dark ones and discard those. But now we're going to the next process of rinsing them off a couple times and then setting them out on a plate to dry out. So I got my little strainer. I'm going to dump out the liquid, try to separate all the seeds out there. So you can move it around, you can see a lot of the big flesh has come off, but we'll rinse it a couple times. Again, those dark ones I'll probably take out, throw away, but let's rinse. And it really doesn't matter if you rinse with hot, cold water. I'm going to use hot water just because it's going to help break up. Stir it. You want to rinse it off well. You can sort of see there's none of that gel or the big pieces of gel left around them, so clean it off really good. And if you don't have a strainer or anything like that, you can keep it in your jar, dump the fluid out, fill with water again, shake it around, and clean it off that way in your jar. But if you've got a little strainer and you got a sprayer, that works well. Because again, you're trying to get all that flesh off because you don't want any of the seeds when they're drying to mold. And you want to put these, you can put them on a plate to dry. I know some people will probably use paper towel, but what happens is the paper towel gets stuck to the seed, and then sometimes that paper towel will be the thing that collects moisture and get moldy, so that's a pain to take off the paper towel. So put it on a plate, put it on a wax paper plate or a small dish if you have it. That'll work well too. But time to get them drying. Get my seeds. Luckily we have the blower in the kitchen here that's blowing out hot air. You can also have a little fan if you want to blow over them to help dry them out faster. So if you have a little knife or anything, you can just, again, spread them out. So you can see they're nice and clean. Tomato seeds they're almost a little hairy when you get really up close to them, so try to space them out as much as you can. So if you see any that are damaged or any like half seeds, you can remove those. I'm going to take those brown ones out, so you can use a toothpick if your fingers are too big like mine. But when they're sort of wet, you can just dab them, and I can sort of feel like that one's not very, it's almost a little mushy, so put it in the trash. You can also put it in, if you don't have a fan or anything to blow over them, you can set them in your windowsill for the sun to dry. So, you know, set them out for a day or so to let them dry. You know, then each day check on them, move them around a little bit. Because again, they'll stick to each other. See, there's little debris. You can take those out once things dry. Finally have our tomato seeds dried and ready to be put away. So you see they're a little loose, they're not sticking to each other. There's no gel or anything around it, so we've done a great job cleaning them off. Now they're just ready to be packaged in a little bag or envelope. And what we would normally do is label, right? We'd label the variety, when we harvested, and especially put the year. So since we're not really gonna save these, because these were a store-bought tomato, right? Just put them in there, we're not gonna label them. Put them in your bag, put them in your envelope, and if your place is really humid or wherever you store your seeds, I know some people put in like those little silica desiccant pouches in here that are food safe to make sure your seeds don't get moldy. And that's it. You saved your own tomato seeds. I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Let us know. And again, thanks for watching. And remember, you are awesome and you are loved.